This morning, we take a closer look at last night's 60 Minutes report on the most daring and successful diamond thieves in the world. Correspondent Bob Simon learned from Interpol's top cop, Ron Noble, how the Pink Panthers pulled off heists in more than 35 countries. For 2 decades, they've stolen $500 million worth of valuables.
Copenhagen, 2007, a jewelry store inside a hotel. In front of stunned guests, 3 men raced through the lobby and into the store. They smashed glass cases and made off with more than $1 million worth of stones. In the last 20 years, they've been responsible for $500 million in robberies. In all that time, there's been 1 fatality. What makes the Panthers so successful, Noble says, is how they do weeks of surveillance and preparation before an attack. These undercover shots show a team taking the measure of a target before a hit.
The MO of the Pink Panthers is very clear. They tend to use a woman to case the jewelry stores first.
An attractive woman.
Attractive woman, woman wearing expensive clothing, woman wearing expensive jewelry.
A well-heeled man enters next, blocks the door open with his foot, and clears the path for the smash and grab men. 4 people altogether. Precise timing and well-planned getaways are their trademark.
From the time they enter the door until they break all the glass in the cases, take the jewelry and are out in less than 30 seconds, and then they have a getaway plan. Within a matter of hours, they're in another country. That's their classic MO, if you will.
Bob Simon, good morning.
Morning.
How did they do it?
They do it with planning and with very rapid execution, and because most of them have had paramilitary training. The gang started in Montenegro, where they were at war with the Bosnians along with the Serbs, and it's a very tribal organization.
And how do they get new members?
That's easy. They are heroes in Montenegro and in Syria. They are
Everybody
wanted.
wants to be a member.
Everybody wants to be a member. They're making good money, very good money, and they're living a life of adventure. And they become local heroes. When a Pink Panther comes back home, he is in very good shape.
Well, you talked last night to someone who's semi-retired. I wondered, what does semi-retired mean as a Pink
Well, that
Panther?
was his own description of himself, so we felt we should identify him as he described himself. Well, he's been in the game a long, long time, and I think semi-retired means that he does a lot of planning now. He doesn't go on the actual operation.
But do they ever get caught?
They get caught, but they never get caught at the scene of the crime because they're so fast. And cops will get there the quickest at 3 minutes, and by that time, they're in another country.
You say that it's like tribal, almost, but there doesn't seem to be one boss at the helm of this organization. So how does that work?
Well, it's sort of like Qaeda after Osama, and like unlike the mafia, where there is a kingpin, they just have different groups spread all over the
Different
place.
cells.
And they don't even coordinate. They're just different groups with different operations. And they're getting more daring all the time.
They're so brazen with it, Bob. I mean, they literally walk in, announce what they're going to do. I'm thinking, aren't the store security there? They're just overwhelmed by it, or they're afraid of the Pink Panthers?
Well, I think they're afraid of the Pink Panthers. I mean, if you have a $200 a week job as a security guy, you're going to take on a gang of Pink Panthers?
So how do they pull off these prison breaks?
Well, ingeniously, they drove into one prison. You have to understand, we're talking about European prisons, mainly Swiss prisons. They are not comparable to an American high-security prison. Prisoners have a lot of freedom. They have their own mobile phones.
Wow.
So it's not.
You can go to prison, go to Switzerland.
But the remarkable thing, which struck us, is that a guy who escapes from prison, if he's caught, goes back to prison, no additional time.
Whoa.
So there's no reason why not to try to escape.
Why are they called Pink Panthers?
Called Pink Panthers because of the famous, wonderful Peter Sellers movie where the diamond thieves hid their largest diamond in a can of cold cream. And these guys did exactly the same thing, became known as Pink Panthers, which is a pain for the cops because
it makes them seem cool.
You hear the name Pink Panthers and you giggle.
Yeah,
at least
that's
I
right.
do.
Now, you said they're expanding into art, and I'm curious about that because diamonds, you know, you can sell those perhaps, but selling $100 million Cezanne or a Velasquez or a Delacroix, I mean, that's a different prospect altogether. How are they going
Well,
about that?
the word is that they steal on order. The Pink Panthers are not known themselves as art specialists. They haven't studied art history. But they, if somebody in, shall we just say, for example, Russia or somewhere in the Arab world wants a particular Delacroix, he'll order it from the Pink Panthers.
Now, are there copycats who are not really Pink Panthers but want to appear so?
Yes, because it's become such a heroic business. And the copycats are also very imaginative. A bunch of guys came in wearing burqas to a robbery. And they, you know, in an Arab country, wearing burqas, nobody is looking underneath it. And by the time they saw what was underneath, they were missing several $1 million in jewelry. You can't help, listen, the cops said they couldn't help admiring these guys.
Wow.
Admiring
That
might be
says
strong,
something,
but they just shook their head. They are good, and they're having a lot of trouble catching them.
All right. Well, interesting to watch. Thank you, Bob Simon.